kindly observing your attention. Just notice where it's hanging out. If it's hard to sit up with a straight spine, put something under your sit bones. And then notice if your weight is dropping between the left and right sit bone evenly. You want to feel even support. So most of us are right side dominant. The right side of our body is actually heavier. Between the liver, the diaphragm's a little larger. There's an extra lobe on the right lung. So making that slight adjustment so that it feels even, notice if your spine feels like it's moving out of the center of the pelvis. You want to feel the center alignment. Place your hands on your lower ribs. And when you breathe in, feel your ribs press out into the hands. So move your ribs out to the side. You'll start to feel the ribs move back towards the end of your inhale. Let's do a couple more like this. Really press out in those lower ribs. And if you are not feeling like that is working for you, that's okay. You're just observing. This is the diaphragmatic breath. We're starting to press out at the start of the inhale in the diaphragm. Now place both hands over the navel. And at the start of your breath, push your navel into your hands. And we're focusing low, so we're not trying to press the ribs out on the inhale. This is belly breathing, which is different from diaphragmatic breathing. Now we can put them all together, the two together. Keep one hand over the belly, one hand on the side rib. Starting the breath, push your belly out and then feel the expansion out in the rib. So now we're belly breathing and diaphragmatic breathing. And these tend to get lumped together. But we're targeting different muscle groups. Diaphragmatic breathing, we're really focusing also on the intercostal muscles and releasing tension in the back. And then release your hands and start your breath with your awareness at the navel, counting 2 at the navel, 2 in the ribs, 2 in the upper chest, so that we're now going to focus on the feeling of full lung expansion. So 2 counts belly, 2 counts ribs, 2 counts at the collarbones. And then on the exhale, 2 counts at the collarbones, 2 counts at the ribs, 2 counts at the belly. No pauses in between the breath. Just breathing in slowly for a count of 6, exhaling for a count of 6. Try to create a very smooth, silent, steady inhale, smooth, silent, steady exhale, no jerkiness. If the jerkiness is there, you're just observing it. But with the jerkiness, if we focus more on silently breathing, we tend to resolve the jerky quality of the breath. So to silently breathe through the nostrils means we might have to flare the nostrils and then we're really slowing the breath down. This is considered a healthy breath. So not respiratory health, just a healthy breath, which is indicating where we're at in our nervous system, where we're at psychologically, physiologically. The mind and breath are connected. So if the breath is shallow, it usually means we're overthinking. We're too much in our thoughts. When the breath is long and steady, it means our mind is moving towards a calmer state. So they always are following each other. Let's come into rock pose. And if it's too much to have the knees together, bring your knees a little wide because we're going to fold into a child's pose. And we'll keep working around the diaphragm. Bring your arms up, right arm over left, eagle wrap, maybe back of hands together, maybe palms together. Lift your elbows, pull the shoulders down, and then fold forward. Let the head rest on the arms. And then really tuning into the diaphragmatic breath we were just doing. We want to feel the ribs expand out and back on the inhale. And this is a really good stretch for the diaphragm, but also all of the muscles that get shortened, tightened when the diaphragm isn't moving through its full expression. Or if we've had a lot of stress and anxiety and we're holding tension in the solar plexus, it can help release some of that. Now very gently coming up, and we'll cross the opposite. Bring the left over the right, hands together. Lift your elbows, pull your shoulders down, and then fold. Rest your head on your arms, and then breathing into the side ribs. Feel your side ribs expand. Out and then back. Coming up. Now, if the knees are together, great. If not, try to bring the knees together. Slide the hands forward to start. Keep the palms elevated so we're resting on fingertips. Hold the fingers, push back in your hips. That push back in the hips isn't going to feel like a lot of leverage with the knees together, and that's okay. And now bring your hands back next to the feet, palms are up. And then here, we're going to breathe navel and diaphragm. So starting your breath by pushing your belly into the thighs, and then feel your ribs expand out and back. And then maybe even noticing the movement up by the collarbones. We're using our legs as resistance or strength training for our abdomen and our diaphragm, the breath training. And then gently sitting up, come around to your back, straighten the legs, and take a couple of free breaths here. Notice what's happening in the abdomen. And then bring your hands over the navel. Now only move the ribs. Using the weight of our hands as a little bit of resistance training to again expand the ribs back and out. And this is going to release the low spine. So as we move into some deeper stretches, we've already shifted a lot in our back. We're just gently pressing down. We're not using a lot of force. Just a very gentle press on the inhale. And now release the hands on your next exhale and feel that feeling of buoyancy from removing the weight. And the freedom of your breath without any effort, just feel your breath. And now bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug. Gently press your shins into the forearms so that your low back presses into the floor with a little bit of effort. You want to use the least amount of effort here to feel the impact. And as you're breathing and you get into the diaphragm, feeling the ribs expand, notice the muscles in your low back press into the floor. So we start to feel like those muscles are a little bit of a balloon. With the inhale, we can feel them engage and expand. And then release the legs. Find the natural arch in your low spine. Let the knees come to touch in center, palms are up. Take a couple of breaths. Notice what's happening in the low spine, in your belly. And then rock over to your right side, pressing up. Bring your knees to the edge of your mat. Sit back to the heels. Reach forward through the fingers. Find an active child's pose. Pull your spine. Push your hips back. Pull your spine forward. Take some deep breaths here. Maybe your belly pulls in towards your spine for a little bit of effort. And then crawl your hands to the right, left hand over the right hand. Press to the left sit bone, left hip. Try to keep that hip down. Lean over to the left, right hand on the left hand. Keep your right hip pressing back and down. Back to center. Come up to tabletop. Keeping your eyes closed, drop the belly on the inhale, lift the chin. And then exhale, round the spine, pull your navel up towards the spine. Activating those muscles and moving with your breath. Then coming to a neutral spine after your next exhale. Let's just target the low spine here. So on the inhale, arch just your low back. Keep your neck in alignment with your spine. And then on the exhale, tuck your tailbone. Inhale, arch just the low back. Exhale, tuck your tailbone. 2 more like this. And then neutral spine, take a breath. And let's target the shoulders. So inhale, drop just the chest down. Squeeze your shoulders together. Keep your neck neutral. Inhale, push the floor away. Press your the middle of your shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. Feel that part of your spine press up and then lower down. So shoulder push-ups. Chest moves down, chest moves up. Think about pressing your chest up. Feel the pectoral muscles engage, and then you're pressing down. And then a neutral spine. Take a breath. And now let's do spinal articulation in cat-cow. So arch your low back, start to drop your ribs, drop the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, drop your chin, press the shoulders up, round the mid-spine, tuck the tailbone. And again, drop the belly, arch the low back, drop your ribs, drop the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, tuck the chin, press the shoulders, round the mid-back, tuck your tailbone. Keep going just like this, couple of rounds. Really isolating each part of the spine, but in a way that makes it feel like a wave. And we want to connect that feeling of a wave with the breath. So we're looking for a very slow, steady breath like we started our class with, but with a spinal wave. With the neutral spine after your next exhale. Inhale the right arm up, and let's thread through. Drop the right shoulder, gently press into the right shoulder here. Using your left hand, belly pulls in towards the spine. And now the challenge is to expand through the diaphragm. You want to feel the ribs start to open up here. Again, looking for a steady, slow breath. So it doesn't start off that way, but we're hoping to get there. And your next inhale, come up. Take an exhale up, and then inhale, left arm up. Thread through on the exhale. Press with the right hand towards the left. And now we want to focus on a steady breath, working towards a steady breath. So noticing the tension that's inherent in this posture. And then using our breath to work through some of that tension. On your next inhale, come up. Exhale, curl your toes under, come into a downward facing dog. Keep your knees bent. Heels can be pressing all the way up or just somewhere in between. So look at your feet. Notice which side of the feet you're dropping your weight to. We want even weight distribution in the ball of the feet. So left and right side of the feet pressing evenly. Notice how it changes the stretch. And then notice if it makes your knees come towards each other without changing anything in the feet. Bring your knees so that they're in the center line, pointing forward. Belly in. Press from the hands. Feel the hips get a little higher. If we pull our navel here, we're going to feel a really deep stretch in our mid-back through the ribs because we start our diaphragmatic breath. Relax your neck and then reach your right heel back. Right leg up, left heel back. Doesn't matter if the heel touches the floor, you're just reaching back for your edge today. And then one more, reach your right heel back. And up, left heel back. And up. Now reach both heels back. Keep pulling your navel, pushing the hips back, relax the head again. Notice what side of your foot you're dropping your weight, make it even. And then walk it forward. We'll halfway lift, pull your navel, and then fold, bend the knees, roll up. Let the arms hang, press into the inner edges of the feet as well, making sure your inner thighs are engaged. Come to stand, grab your wrists behind your back, close your eyes, take a couple breaths. We're looking for our center of gravity here. So we want our weight evenly distributed in the feet. You can slightly shift your weight forward, maybe open your eyes for this part. And then come back to center, shift your weight back without lifting the toes, coming center. Drop your weight over towards the right without lifting the feet. Actually press the inner edge of your right foot down. Come center. Over to the left. Pressing the inner edge of your left foot. And then come center. Now find the exact center point between all directions. And then hands to the hips. And bring your big toes together. Inhale your right arm up. And then we're going to side bend here. Push with the left hand gently into the left hip, deepening the release on the right side. Keep your ear in alignment with the bicep. And then notice the shoulders. We want to bring the right shoulder a little back, left shoulder a little forward. And then squeeze your glutes. Gently press the hips forward. And then keeping that forward press through the glutes, press the right hip a little back, left hip a little forward. Come up. Right hand to the hip. Inhale your left arm up. Start to side bend. Use the left hand here to press into the right hip. We want the ear in alignment with the bicep. And pressing the inner edges of the feet. Notice what your shoulders are doing. We're going to engage the glutes. Push the hips a little bit forward, just using your glutes. And then we want left shoulder back, right shoulder a little forward. Left hip back, right hip a little forward. Reach through the fingers, and we want a straight arm here. So with the straight arm, we're getting deeper into the hip. Whereas if we bend, we're getting more into the ribs. Coming up, release the hands, both hands to the hips. Now step your feet wide, so if you have to turn to face the long edge of your mat, great. Press the inner edges of the feet here, and then walk your hands back so that the thumbs are near the spine. We want our elbows pointing straight back, bend the knees, forward fold. Keep your elbows up towards the ceiling. Try to relax the head. Belly's in. And then we're bending the knees and then pushing the hips up, straightening the knees as much as possible. And then we'll bend the knees. So little pulses. This feels like too much on your knees. You're just going to hold steady. Press the inner edges of the feet so we're activating the inner thigh. And then keep rolling the shoulders on, like you're checking in, roll the shoulders, and then we want the elbows up. And then release the hands, grab the ankles or the calves and pull your head down, elbows out to the side. Keep pulling your belly in. Release the head. And then bend the knees. Hands to the hips, come up. Step the feet together. Cross your right foot over the left. Hands on the hips. Pull your belly in and forward fold. You could release the hands if you want towards the floor. Now try to press the left inner edge of your foot to the ground, the right inner edge to the ground. Hands to the hips, come up. Uncross, and then left over right. Pinky toe to pinky toe, forward fold. Belly's in. Maybe release your hands to the ground. Press your right big toe to the ground, left big toe to the ground. Hands to the hips, come up. Uncross. And now coming down to the floor, bring your legs out in front of you. Let's start with bent knees. So the biggest thing that we could do with a forward fold always is observe the big toe. Most people, I know I've been saying this a lot, but this has changed my practice. Most people turn their toes in, their big toes in. And if we just do that experiment right now, let's just make the connection. We turn the big toes in, where do you feel the engagement? It's usually the outer line into the back. We're actually creating tension here. If we push the knees together, toes forward, now we're activating the inner line and a little bit of core. But because we're pressing the knees actively, we're still engaging the outer line. So now it's an even engagement and we're not overexerting any one muscle group. We're using all of them together, which is how we are designed to be moving. So big toes press forward, and we want the imaginary wall in front of the feet. Inhale your arms straight up and pull your belly in. Keep pressing the knees gently towards the center, toes forward. And then bring your chest to the thighs, grab what's available, the ankles or the feet. And we're going to just release the low back here. So the most important part of a forward fold is our low back release. And if you're holding a lot of tension in the low back, straightening the legs is going to emphasize the hamstring, not the back. But because the back's tight, the hamstring is not going to release. So now we're not doing anything. The way that forward folds are portrayed often don't help very many people. So we want to focus here first, even if you feel really flexible. Actively pull your chest up, forward, chin is in alignment with the neck. So we're not pushing forward, we're not tucking. And this neck is in alignment with the spine. So now the rhomboids are active in between the shoulder blades. And so we're working on the muscles to avoid the dowager hump. Should feel really active. Now, inch your heels forward 1 or 2 inches. Same thing, belly is into the thighs. We don't lose that connection. But also belly pulling back. So the chest is touching the thighs, belly's in. Maybe your belly's also touching the thighs. Rhomboids active. Neck in alignment with the spine. And then maybe you can get the heels a little bit more forward and making sure that this is not the point where we compromise and roll those big toes in. Big toes press forward. Now we're going to feel a really deep stretch up the inner leg into the pelvic floor. We might feel it in the piriformis as well as the sacrum and the outer hip. Keep pulling the chest forward actively. And then let's release, open the legs. Flex your feet up. So with the feet flex, the hip flexors are active. And this is creating stability in the spine in the way that we're going to be moving here. But we'll hold center to start. Just hold the flex. Now, belly's in. By pulling the belly, we're trying to get rid of the low back arch a little bit. There's going to always be a little bit of an arch, but we're actively engaging those muscles. So it's almost like you're tucking your tailbone. So now it's going to make the thighs very active. Hands come forward. Without losing that activity, we don't want to lose the belly. We don't want to lose the connectivity around the tailbone, but we want to just shift everything forward. The weight moves to the front edge of your sit bones. So you can make like a slight adjustment to get the glutes out of the way. And then pull the belly. And again, think about finding the engagement of the tailbone tuck, which is physically impossible here, but we're finding that muscle engagement. And we're staying active, long spine. And because we're pulling the belly, we need to engage the diaphragm very consciously. So we're looking to feel the ribs expand on the inhale. And as you find a release, you're just walking the hands forward, straight spine. You might start to get to the shake of the psoas release here. That would be the shaking of the thigh. So if that starts to happen, to me, that's always like a really good place to get to. Couple more breaths. Maybe you can get your head all the way down. Maybe your chin can touch the floor. Maybe you're right here. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It only matters what it feels like. Sitting up now, relax the belly, relax the tailbone so we're feeling our natural arch. Keep a flex on the feet for the stability. Just notice what's happening in the spine, in the inner thighs. Now twist towards the right, walk the hands along the leg. Keep pressing your left sit bone down and back, left hip down and back as you reach the heart forward. Long spine. So the tendency is always to collapse here, chin towards the chest. But if we do that, we compromise in between the shoulder blades. We want to keep the chin moving forward, belly in. We'll relax completely in Shavasana. My teacher's like, none of this is a relaxation till you hit Shavasana. Very firm. Walk up to center, over to the other side. Belly's in. Walk out along the left leg. We're pressing the right sit bone back, pulling the heart forward, maximizing the stretch. Keep reaching through the chin. And then we're intentionally breathing into those lower ribs, feeling them expand out. Maintaining a flex on both feet. And then coming up, bring feet together. We'll release the hips. So bring your right ankle over the left thigh. If you can drop the ankle off the thigh, try that. That might even get your knee up a little bit more. And that's okay. So here, again, it's not what we think it's supposed to look like. We're looking for a specific stretch. Bring your left leg in. So now the ankle should be out from the thigh. Whew. Interlock the hands. Bring the hands up, pull your belly, try to get rid of your low back curves. That could even pop this knee up a little bit more, also totally fine. We're going to release after the activation. And then bring your hands down. Now, start to drop your weight forward to the front edge of the sit bones. Belly's in. When you create that belly pull, you're going to also feel here like you're almost tucking the tailbone simultaneously. Hands can come in front of the legs. And we're just reaching forward in the spine. It's not about going all the way down. If you're already down, great. If that's where you're at today. Otherwise, you're just slowly making your way forward on fingertips. By staying on the fingertips, we're keeping the shoulders active, which is what we want here. And just again, pull your belly if you let it go. So now we have to focus on slowly expanding through the ribs. Very gently coming up. Now, move your right knee over on top of the left, or as close to it as you can get. So that could be here today. Doesn't matter. You're dropping the weight of the right leg. So if we were in like the twist, you're actively working to keep the leg up. That's why I'm saying it doesn't matter, even if it looked like you're in a twist, you're just dropping the weight. Now, again, pull your belly. So it feels like almost a tailbone tuck. Hands can rest on your ankles. And then interlock the hands, palms up to the ceiling. Keep your shoulders down, but pull your spine up. Belly's in. Drop your weight also towards the sit bones. So the sit bones stay heavy. The glutes are active, pressing through the wrists. And then maybe a slight side bend to the right. Could just be so slight. Up to center, over to the left. Pressing through the right wrist here. And then hands come forward. Slide your hands out. We're shifting our weight to the front edge of the sit bones. Start to drop your weight more and more. So the chest is getting heavier. We're not collapsing the neck, but we're letting the effort of holding our spine in place go here. We're keeping a long spine effortlessly. Coming up, right arm up and back. Hand as close to your hip as you can get it. Long spine, belly in, left arm up and over. Look over your right shoulder. About 3 weeks. Legs forward. Take your left ankle over the right thigh, maybe off the right thigh. And then bring your right leg in. Flexing the feet. So it doesn't matter where the left knee is. It just matters that you're feeling the stretch. Pull your belly. Interlock the hands, palms up. Reach up through both wrists. Keep your shoulders down. To keep the shoulders down, we're going to be squeezing the shoulders a little bit here and engaging the lats. We want to feel the side active. Now release the hands. Start to shift your weight forward on the sit bones. Maybe your hands come forward. Keep pulling your navel in as you walk your arms out, little at a time. Maybe it doesn't even feel like you can move them forward, also fine. Long spine. We don't want to lose the connectivity between the shoulder blades here. Maybe your head's already on the ground. Wherever you're at, just keep a flex in the feet, keep active in the hips. And then coming up, now bring the left knee over the right. And it doesn't matter what this looks like. We're going to tuck the tailbone, hold the belly. So we can't really move much potentially in the tailbone, but we're just finding that muscle engagement. Long spine, and then interlock the fingers in front of you, palms up, press the palms up. Drop your weight down towards the sit bones. With the belly in, we need to expand the ribs. Hands come forward. Start to shift the weight to the front edge of the sit bones, walking your hands out, belly in. Let your weight drop here. So we're not going to collapse in the spine in between the shoulder blades, but we are going to let go of a lot of the effort. So effortlessly long spine. Very gently come up, bring the legs forward, keep the legs straight, and we'll do a little bit more around the hips before we lay down. So take your right leg in. We're working towards half lotus. So if you can't get the foot into the thigh crease, you're going to find a figure four. So ankle on the thigh this time. Arms come up, interlock the hands, press the wrists up, belly's in, and then fold over the left leg. Right hip pressing back, left hip a little forward. Keep pulling your belly towards the spine. That gentle engagement. We're not necessarily using as much force as we possibly could, but we don't want to lose connection with the navel here. Inhale, arms up. Again, interlock the fingers, press up, pull the belly, and then release. Now we'll come into half hero. Cap out, toes pointing back. If we flex the foot, we're compressing the knee. If this feels like too much compression on your knee, you can bring the knee out. That's still too much. Bring the foot into the thigh so that you're avoiding compression. We don't need to do that ever. Now, interlock the hands up to the ceiling, pull your navel, push up. And then if you want, forward fold. If it feels like too much to fold forward, you're just going to keep your arms up. And wherever you're at, the tendency is to drop all the weight to the left. Start to bring some of your weight towards the right without compromising the knee. So think about it, belly's in, and you're pressing the right sit bone. Coming up, plant your right foot, hip distance. Keep a flex on the left foot. Right arm up and back. Bring the hand as close to the sit bone as possible. So now we have a really long spine, left arm up and over, bending the elbow. Look over your right shoulder. The tendency here is to start pushing this knee, using your arm to leverage the twist. Let's avoid that. So if you need to hug the knee, also fine. Biggest thing is belly's in, twisting from the navel. So with the belly in, we're expanding the back ribs on our inhale. And then center. Bring your right leg forward. Left foot comes in, either figure four or half lotus. Interlock your hands, palms are up, keep a flex on your right foot. Let's forward fold here. Pulling the belly. So if you're in your half lotus, the goal then is to press the heel just below your belly button. Inhale the hands up, interlace, pull the spine, and then release. Come into Triangle Mukh. So half hero, toes pointing back. Interlock the hands, arms up. We want to keep moving weight towards the left sit bone. Forward fold if that's available. Otherwise, keep your arms up. And again, if there's any discomfort in the knee joint here, come out of the pose gently. We do not want to ever cause joint pain in our practice. That is not the point. There is good muscle engagement where we're feeling the heat and the intensity build. But if it's in the joint, not good. We don't want that. We're not doing something right, or our body's not ready for the pose. So coming out, plant the foot, hip distance, left arm up and back. Right next to the hip if possible, right arm up and over, pull your navel, twist without pushing the knee. Look over the shoulder. And then let's release, leg forward. Bending the right leg, grab the foot, work on straightening the leg. So if it's bent, that's okay. You're just working on straight for you. Elbows can come out to the side, flex the foot, look at your big toe, belly's in, and then lower. Opposite side, so bending the knee, left foot in, grab the foot. It's okay if the knee is bent, you're working towards straight, elbows come out to the side, gazing at your big toe, belly in. So the tendency could be to start leaning back to overcompensate. Spine is long, so bend the knee. You want a long spine before a straight leg. And then lower, coming down to your back. Bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug. Now, hands come next to your side, straighten the legs. If you need low back support, bring your hands under your hips. Hands could be next to your side. If you're feeling like it's not a strain on your low back, bring your arms overhead. Reach through the fingers, press through the heels. We're flexing the feet, arching the back off the ground. Really reach in two directions and then soften. Now try to tuck your low back. So again, if this is too much strain on the back, you're going to bring your arms under the hips. Inhale your right leg up 90 degrees. And we're trying to press the low spine into the floor. Keep a flex on both feet, belly in. So now we're slowly expanding the ribs on the inhale. And then lower down. Next inhale, left leg up 90 degrees. Try to imprint your low spine into the floor, belly pulls in. And then lower your leg. Reach in both directions, point and flex the feet. And then inhale both legs up, 90 degrees, pull the navel, imprint your low spine. So it's like we're trying to tuck our tailbone and then split your legs. Doesn't matter how wide. Press out through the heels. And then grab the inner edges of your feet for a happy baby. We're pressing the knees down towards the floor, but also towards the armpits. Keep a flex on the feet. And then knees to the chest, arms to a T. Drop the legs to the right. Look over your left shoulder. Up, over. To the left. Look over the right shoulder. Center. Walk your feet forward. Palms are up next to your side. Let your feet fall out to the side. Totally surrender here. Let go through back of the body. Notice if you're creating any tension to hold yourself up or lift yourself up towards the ceiling. Let your body move in the opposite direction without effort. Softening the top of your head, your forehead, eyebrows, in between your eyebrows, the muscles around your eyes, the muscles around your ears, the muscles around your nostrils, your mouth and your tongue, your chin, your throat, collarbones, your shoulders, upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, your wrists, your palms, your fingers, the center of your chest, bottom of your sternum, muscles around your navel, relaxing the muscles in your pelvis, feel your pelvic floor relax, the hips soften, the thighs, the knees, the muscles along your shins, your ankles, the tops of your feet, your toes, the soles of your feet, your calves, the backs of your knees, your hamstrings, your glutes, the muscles around your sacrum, low spine, relaxing where the ribs come together with the spine, relaxing the mid-back, feeling all of the intercostal muscles relax. Feel your entire rib cage let go. Muscles on top of your shoulder blades, beneath the shoulder blades, in between your shoulder blades, above the shoulder blades, feeling the back of your neck release, the back of the head soften, bringing your awareness back to the top of your head. Take 2 breaths. Seeing the feeling behind your eyes, place your awareness on that feeling. It's a little bit tensiony, electric feeling. Move your awareness back behind that feeling. It's like there's a little cave behind your eyes you can move your awareness into. No light penetrates, and you can just move your awareness back as far as you can go. Gently bringing your awareness back to your breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Move over to your right side, make a pillow out of your right hand. Left hand resting on the ground, and take 2 breaths here, letting your body adjust to moving upright. One little piece at a time. And then pressing up with your left hand, keep your spine as straight as possible, sitting up into easy pose, hands resting on the legs. Noticing your sit bones. We want to feel the effortlessness of our weight being distributed between both of them evenly. And bringing your right elbow up, right hand up to the face. We're going to do Nadi Shodhana. So we'll block the right nostril, inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale left. Keep going like this a few more rounds. Inhaling left, exhaling right. During next exhale, release the hand down. Take a breath. And on your next inhale, hand up, block the left nostril. Inhale right. Exhale left. In right. Out left. Keep going like this a few more rounds. Your next exhale, release the hand. And now bring the hand back up. Inhale right. Block both nostrils. Hold your breath. Exhale right. Inhale right. Block both nostrils. Hold the breath. And then exhale left. Release your hand. Next inhale, bring that hand back up, blocking the left nostril. Inhale right. Hold the breath, plugging both nostrils. Exhale left. Inhale left. Lock the nostrils, hold. Exhale right. Release your hand and observe the opening of your nostrils. And grab your wrist behind your back. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, rise. Hands to the heart and prayer, bow your head to your heart, and we'll end our practice here. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you guys next week.